Blessings, welcome back for the Reasons Right to Your Life. I'm your host, Talako, the Great Old Instagram Guru, here on Your Life Television Network, just doing videos on my journey through hell, and this is part 7. Now, in part 6, I talk about the library, and I was finishing up my experience in the swamps and up on the orchard. Now, I climbed up on these three massive trees, right? Well, I climbed on one of them, and the fruits were extra sweet. It was like tempting because it was like on the highest point of the orchard, and I didn't know the dimensions well, but I knew that they said that was like the swamps was really the boundaries, right? And we shouldn't really actually hallelujah be in the orchard, right? It's literally outer bounds, but it was a thing about souls or beings. I guess they just love to do one thing. Anyway, so I got seen and noticed by the beings that were called, like, what are the gods, the angels, but just the ones that took them to final judgment. That's what they told me. And they were so scared, they ran. They disappeared so fast. And I got lost running for my life. I noticed that there was 3 to the right of me and 1 to the left of me, in front of me. Right now, the 3 to the left, I got so scared of them, literally. I got so scared of them that, I just wanted to get away. This felt my fear, and I could somehow hear them speaking to the other one. And they were saying that I was just like the others. I was no different, right? And it was like effectively like a hallelujah waste of time. So they kind of, went away. But this one wouldn't leave. And it's always trying to communicate to me and trying to tell me that, it's going to be okay, there's nothing to worry about. But I was still scared, so I take off again, run into another spot over one of them look ravine, they gone down, another place last, like definitely last, hallelujah, where me I go. Anyway, they being gently forward again, right, and telling me to calm down. I said, I don't want to be taken to the final judgment, I don't even belong here, I don't want, hallelujah, to be destroyed. And he's saying, listen, there's nothing to worry about. Don't be afraid of us. Don't be scared of us. You and us are the same. I said, no way. No way we are the same. And I looked down on myself, to notice that we weren't clothed in hell. It's not like we have on. I didn't have on any clothes. All I could see was a brown body. And our organs are, them things are not visible, right? It's the astral body, but it was dark to deep brown, hallelujah, almost reddish, brownish black, right? Which is the aura of death, by the way. That's how I looked. That's how the other beings looked, to more intense, darker degrees, right? When I looked on this being, glowing, 3-dimensional density body, right? But all light, hallelujah. All the other ones, all light. And that being is trying to tell me that I was just like them and all the others were just like them. I said to that being that there's no way. It says, yes, it is the case, but you have forgotten, hallelujah, your true nature. You have forgotten your true self. And we will teach you how to remember your real self, how to return to your true self. And the difference is, our statue in hell maybe like 5-6 feet. These beings were like 9, hallelujah, 9, 10, 12 feet, right? They were massive, right? So it's not like we were the same size anyway, and I couldn't see that. Anyway, I kind of trusted the beings, so I asked him if there was like more fruits, like up, and said that it's like bountiful beyond measure. Anyway, so convinced me, and I started walking with the being of light up through the highest point of the orchard and cross what I would call a land bridge, like an arch, right? A noticeable land bridge where there beneath that is just pure, hallelujah, space. It's like literally 2 mountains that are merged by, hallelujah, a land bridge. If a land bridge is a rock formation that's like at the top where there's nothing beneath, right? So the orchard comes up this way from the swamp, and then there's a land bridge over to where they're from. So when I approached that place, all I could see was like a Chinese fan, the fan that curves that way. Like the entire horizon shone with bright light. When I crossed over that land bridge, I realized that dimension is like we're up on a elevated, hallelujah, plateau. And it was the greenest, most beautiful space I'd ever seen. The sky was the brightest, most living, hallelujah, space had ever experienced in my life. He took me over. The first place I noticed that there was this castle, right? And the castle was like in green and gold, and it was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. And I remember I asked him, I said, "Is this where your king lives?" You know? And he says, "No, it's just like a regular person's house." Hallelujah. And I couldn't believe that. I remember I went walking into the village, and I remember the village was set out like you would see traditional villages back in the day. Our villages on top of mountains where the houses literally are visible to each other, and they had little stone pathways, hallelujah, that led into each house. And any house I went, I was greeted with love. Right? I spent like an enormous amount of time there, maybe 3 to 4 months, or even more, up there with them. Then I decided, and actually I found out what had happened to the brethren from down in hell. Actually, they were there, hallelujah, and they had actually, I met some of them, and they were telling me about the experience, right? And so I got convinced that I need to go back down into hell now and bring out my 3 earth soul brethren now, right? And that's where the lala began. That's where the beginning of my end of time in hell start, because that's when a piece of war broke out, and it was unbelievable to see how the end result was. And it was so beautiful in the end, because that's why I'm speaking here today. And tune in for that in the next video, where I'll explain all of that and my journey since I exited out of the underworld, and the path of Christ I've been on ever since. So blessings, stay tuned.